So while we just do this early game, basically the idea is that a probe setting up a pylon, being able to warp in units near your base spells your doom as a Zerg player. Especially when you are relying on Zergling speed. Because guess what? Having wings on a Zergling doesn't make their claws any tougher. It doesn't make their armor any tougher. They can run around a lot faster, that's nice, they look pretty, but they actually don't kill zealots still. So if your opponent's able to warp in outside your third base and force you to fight with your speedlings, well, you're up shit creek. You do not have a paddle and shit's gonna get bad. So using your Zerglings and actually getting the maximum efficiency out of this fast link speed with this build, it's all based around actually denying pylons and not letting a single probe onto your side of the map, especially around your third base area, as that's the real point of contention in ZVP, right? It's the third base and the fourth base. So we are going to practice the scouting, the safety zones and so on Overgrowth, because Overgrowth is a map that's been around a while, you're very comfortable with it. Every time new maps come out, it's very important to find out not only the key pylon locations, by just looking at the map, you can always figure out where the key ones are, right? Well, there's area around the edge of the watchtower here, and there's a black bit here, all where probes can hide or pylons can hide and get towards our third base. Normally one Zergling goes straight to outside their natural, one goes straight to their third, and then the other two scout our side of the map. The idea is to set up safety zones, right? So if you've got the left-hand side watchtower, and you've got their third base, a Zergling down there, the only path is right along the left-hand side. They can actually sneak out, and without entering your watchtower vision, they can go directly along the left behind that minerals, and they can get right down the left-hand side. So just one Zergling anywhere along that left-hand side of the map will cut that off. Okay, so your Zerglings have just popped out. 4 Zerglings have just popped out for you. You're going to send, some of them to scout out these up. Obviously those 3 spots are quite important, but the other 3 big ones on this map, just on that high ground, just behind the gold base, and the nastiest of all, which I actually forgot yesterday when I was playing a game, it's down there behind those rocks. So realistically, the spot on the right-hand side, not as important because it only gives them access to your natural, which is kind of a natural strong point, because you've got all your production kind of centered around that location. The third base is the real sort of isolated one, which can get picked off more. So one of the big issues with doing any sort of scouting at the start of ZVP is you've got to search for the pylons, but we've also got to get Zerglings across the map very quickly, because otherwise they can just send a probe out the front. If we're so busy searching the corners, and then by the time we get across the map, the probe's actually just snuck past through the front. It's literally just walked up and set up a pylon. That can be a big problem. So let's imagine you've just started out. First thing you want to do, like I said, is send one Zergling to outside their natural, one Zergling to outside their third, using just that deselecting. And then with these other 2, now I want you to put those on paths where you search all of those key locations. Just give the command to both. So we're going to give this big, long, rambling queued up attack move command, but then we're going to deselect one and we're going to give the other one a different path. So as long as you've got both guys checking different areas and then going to the kind of the safe zone points, you've got a 90%, well 95% plus probability of catching it.
Do you separate them?
I'd separate them straight away. Just the reason you're giving the order to both is just for your efficiency. So at the end of this, you want to have one Zergling sitting on the watchtower and one on the left-hand side to create that safe zone we were talking about earlier. So this is where you start to actually plan where is each Zergling going to end up, which areas they're going to check. It's incredible how much detail can go into this, but this is how you become cheese-proof versus Protoss. The real challenge with this is to both cover as many spots as possible, be very, very particular about your scouting, whilst also macroing at the same time. So this is why we're going through it in isolation first. So then on our next run through, we can do it while you're macroing, and you're gonna make mistakes. It's fine. People get lazy because they're like, oh, I think I just heard an inject pop, and they just start doing really lazy attack move commands and not really searching the corners.